Expect you actually feel change in just a few days.
先輩と違って私現役 JK ですんで。
Unlike you, I'm high school aged.
細胞が若いから
I don't know what I'm
僕よ
talking
りもずっと効きがいいんだろうね。
about. Then it's probably having a stronger effect on you since your cells are younger.
これを毎日続けていけばもっともっと若返れるんですよね。
I'll get younger and younger if I use this every day, right?
でももうもらった分がなくなっちゃいました。
But I've already run out. Oh my god.
大丈夫だよ。持ってきてるから。
Don't worry, I have more.
次は肌になじませたら内側からなじませないといけない。
Once your skin gets used to it, you need to get used to it on the inside too. Oh, that's worrisome.
今度は少し刺激が強いと思うよ。
But I think the kick will be a little harder this time.
内側からなじませるってどうやるんです？
What does it involve?
そんな難しいことじゃないよ。僕が教えてあげるから。
It's not that hard. I'll show you.
でも若い分きっと反動が強いと思うんだ。
However, I think the side effects will get stronger the younger you get.
痛いとかうずくとかその程度なら全然平気です。
I could take a few aches and pains if that's all it involves.
体の根本を作り直すからね。しばらく風邪に似た症状が出るかもしれない。
You're rebuilding the foundation of your body, so you might have symptoms similar to a cold for a while.
僕の時でも熱が出たような感じで少しふらついたから。
Back when I did it, I used to get dizzy from the fever.
それくらい全
That's nothing.
じゃあ
His eyes.
やり方を教えるよ。
I'll tell you how to use it. His eyes definitely changed, right? I'm such an idiot. I actually took that mysterious powder as told and I put it inside me this time, too. But it actually felt like I was getting younger. I believed that I could return to my heyday. It's magical lily. And I could show you just how special I was. Just as Suzahara told me, I put the powder into a tube-shaped piece of roll-up paper and I put it in my mouth. Okay, now she's eating it. Don't do this. In hindsight, I think that thing was smiling when he saw me do that. Like he knew he dragged me into something from which I could never turn back.
吸ってみて。
It definitely changed.
むせないように気をつけてね。
Just breathe it in. Be careful not to choke on it. And then suddenly she's like, I haven't felt anything when I applied it to my skin, but this time I immediately felt dizzy. I ignored it and I continued to inhale, and before long I felt a heat building up in me as though my chest were on fire. I was a bit dazed, like when you spend too much time in a bath. Not even the spice sake I had for New Year's made me feel like this. Suzahara was right to say this had a lot more kick, if just inhaling a little was enough to cause all this. By the time I finished taking the entire dose, my body was burning up so badly I wanted to throw my clothes off. Don't. He told me that was a sign my cells were working to make me younger. Oh gosh. Even after I went to bed and closed my eyes, the fire in my chest didn't fade. Quite the opposite, I felt aches different from the pounding of my heart, along with something coursing through my body. It was like I had a swarm of worms crawling through my lymph nodes and blood vessels. Oh god. Normally I'd be disgusted by the sensation, but I saw it as a sign my body was trying to turn young. By the next morning, I couldn't get out of bed anymore. I had a high fever, my body was swollen, my joints ached. My mother said it was probably a cold and scolded me for going too far on my nightly walks. I couldn't afford to stop my secret meetings with Suzahara. There was a precise dosage and so on involved. I couldn't take it without his instructions. I had to keep this going until I got to Magical Lily's body's back. I stayed in bed with high fever through the day, snuck out when I was feeling a little better at night, and had Suzahara give me the medicine. This routine went on for several days. My parents told me to go to the hospital, but I didn't want a doctor to order me to stop, so I skipped in secret. Oh, very smart. My face in the mirror looked haggard. However, I was convinced this was part of the process of destroying my monstrous body from within. And then 1 week has passed since I started taking the medicine. At this point, I was starting to get vertigo in addition to high fevers. It was a struggle just to get out of bed. I figured my parents would call an ambulance if I made a fuss, so I put up with it no matter how hard it got. Once my rendezvous time with Suzuhara drew near, I forced myself up despite all the pain. My fever was so bad that day I could barely move, but my phone was beeping to let me know the time to meet Suzuhara had come, and so I hurried onward. I started seeing the world as mushy and distorted. It felt like I was pulsating from time to time. I couldn't even tell if I was walking on my own 2 feet or if I was rolling about while still asleep. Even the handrail by the stairs I'd grown so accustomed to warped in my eyes. It took a lot of effort to get down the stairs without falling. Fortunately, my parents didn't notice. I managed to get outside. Fortunately, that's my choice of words, isn't it? I've been much more fortunate if I just collapsed then and there. Oh gosh, this girl.
遅れてすみません。
Sorry, I'm late.
やっぱり若いから刺激が強いんだね。
It really is strong. It must be because you're young. Huh?
どうした？
What's wrong?
熱かな。おかしく見える。
You look weird. Is it the fever? I knew that had to be Suzuhara, but he looked very different. I figured that it must have been the fever messing up my vision. But while his voice was the same, his body wasn't. It was like he was a big black shadow. Uh-oh. He had long black hair that fell to the ground, and horns that looked like withered branches growing out of his head. The dim glow from the streetlights didn't illuminate much, so I couldn't even see the look on his face. But his voice was still Suzuhara's, so I still believed it was him.
今夜の服用で
We're just gonna go.
おしまいだよ。
Tonight's dose will be the end of the medicine.
あとは楽にして時間に任せて体が作り変わっていくのを待つだけだから。
George, just rest. Let time do the work and wait for your body to change. Suzuhara's voice sounded odd from time to time. Something must have been up my ears. I was in a daze and on the verge of collapse, but it was the last time, so I endured, figuring I could sleep all I wanted later. Oh, checking. Hold on. Okay. At Suzuhara's urging, we sat down by the park's flower bed. When we did, we opened his right hand and tilted his palm downward. Something seemed to flutter down from it. It was black and light, like a tiny feather. But it reflected no light, even under the glow of the streetlights. And then, what looked like black snow or soot began raining down. Suzuhara caught it in his left palm, forming a small mountain. He then kneaded it with his hands, changing it into the shape of a thin tube. This was the last of the medicine. But this was the end of the line for me. I was dizzy, and I couldn't even trust what I was seeing. Suzuhara must have realized that, because he took my hands and helped me.
さあ、頑張って。
Head, do your best. Yeah. Around.
これで最後の薬だよ。
This is the last of the medicine.
これを吸い込めば呪いのすすが全身に行き渡るよ。
Once you inhale this, the cursed soot will spread throughout your whole body.
これで私マジカルリリーに戻れる。
This will turn me back into magical Lily, right?
戻れるよ。ほら。
Yes. Now, inhale. I did as I was told. I inhaled it deep into my lungs. And when I did, my head was filled with a burst of pure light. I was still dazed, but the sense of fatigue and suffocation that had plagued me cleared right up. I'd hit the peak. My week of penance must have finally borne fruit. Just then, I saw someone walk slowly out of the light. It was a little girl. It was me, back in the good old days, where I was petite and adorable. Tears of gratitude welled into her eyes, and she smiled appreciatively at me.
私を取り戻すために頑張ってくれてありがとう、ババア。
Thanks for working so hard to bring me back, old hag.
ババアは余計よ。
Old hag, that's going too far.
これで私たちはマジカルリリーを取り戻せるよ。
Now we can finally get magical Lily back.
あんたは私と一つになるの。
You and I will become one.
これで一番輝いてたあの頃を私たちは取り戻せるわ。
And with that, we can take back that time where we shine the brightest.
先輩に認めてもらえるかな。
Suzahara, acknowledge me. Jesus Christ, that's what's important.
私の微笑みに耐えられる男の子なんているわけないもん。
Of course he will. There's no guy out there who could resist my smile.
それもススハラ先輩のためだけに微笑むの。
And it'll be a smile just for him.
みんなのリリーじゃない。先輩だけのリリーになるの。
I won't just be anyone's Lily anymore. I'll be Suzahara's Lily and nothing else.
そうしたら絶対先輩のハートを私だけのものにできるんだから。
And I could take his heart for my own. I just know it.
できるわ。だってその姿こそが私の一番なんだから。
Yes, we can. Because that body is the best I've ever had. Lily slowly embraced me. I hugged her back. I felt the heat in my chest merge with the one in hers.
あなたは私という体にできた吹き出物、ニキビみたいなもの。
You're a boil in my body, like a pimple.
それをきれいさっぱり落とせば本当の私の体に帰ることができる。
So once we pop it, once and for all, I can finally return to my true self.
私の化け物みたいな体をきれいさっぱり落とせば元に。
Once we get rid of my body, once and for all, I'll go back to how I was.
もうお薬はすべて飲んだから、あとは寝て待つだけ。
You took all the medicine, so all that's left is to sleep and wait.
それで私は蘇れるの。そして鈴むお兄ちゃんだけの私になるの。
Then I'll be reborn and have Suzumu all to myself.
早く私という吹き出物を消し去ってしまおう。
Yes, this body will soon fade away.
そして早く綺麗な私になって会いに行こう。
Yep, and then I'll go see him once I'm back to my adorable self. All of a sudden, I heard tires screeching as a car quickly took off. That sound brought me back to my senses, clearing some of my haze in my mind.
どうしたの？
What's wrong?
なんでもないです。急に頭がすっきりして。
It's nothing. My mind just suddenly became a lot clearer.
峠を越えたんだね。飛躍の効果が君の体の中に行き渡ったんだよ。
It means you've gone past the hard part. The medicine's effects are spreading through your body.
もう あとは大丈夫。待つだけだよ。
Everything will be fine now. All you have to do is wait.
待つだけ。
All I have to do is wait?
待つだけで大丈夫だよ。
Yeah, you'll see. Those final words, the thing that looked like Suzahara, fade into the darkness. I suddenly found myself worried. Oh, now you're worried. Oddly enough, the medicine felt more real when it was causing my body to suffer. Now that it all cleared up, I wonder if its effects had already stopped working. But Suzahara said it was spreading through my body. The effects that would purge the ugly boil that I was from Lily would soon arrive. Before the week had ended, I saw it happen. A few days after I was well enough to go back to school.
あったくん、おはよ
Morning, Atsura.
挨拶なんてしてる場合じゃねえぜ。見たかよこれ。
This ain't the time for hellos. Look at this.
学校に週刊誌とか持ってきたら怒られるんじゃない？
Teachers are gonna get mad at you for bringing a magazine to school, you know.
う。あれクラスリリアってリリアちゃんの記事？
Huh? Riria Kurusu. Is this an article about our Riria? Flower High member Riria Kurusu caught smoking at night? What? The former magical Lily, after a 3-year hiatus from the peak of her popularity, made headlines with her stunning return as the newest member of Flower High, only to be caught in a major scandal. The pure idol, now a delinquent smoker?
そんなわけないよ。リリアちゃんにタバコの匂いなんてしなかった。
Can't be right. Oh wait, wrong one. That can't be right. I didn't smell any smoke on Riria.
すごいね。匂いでわかるんだ。
Wow, you can tell by the smell?
リリアちゃんがタバコなんて吸うわけがねえ。絶対にガセだぜ。
There's no way in hell Riria would smoke. It's lies. All lies. Riria Kurusu's stunning wanderlust, caught smoking all alone at night in the park. Coming back into the limelight after a 3-year hiatus must have been stressful, sure, but she's still a minor. Even if she were an adult, it still would have been a shock to her fans that the princess of Cleanland smokes.
写真はリリアちゃんにそっくりだね。
The girl in the photo is a dead ringer for Riria.
全然似てねえよ。ちょっと似てるだけの別人に決まってるぜ。
No, she isn't. She must be someone who just happens to look like her. The photo appeared to have been taken with the zoom lens. It showed Riria sitting all alone in the park late at night with what appeared to be a cigarette in her mouth. She was in casual clothes, so she was a far cry from the glamorous girl on stage. But there was no doubt that it was Riria Kurusu herself. Uh-oh.
これは君本人で間違いないのか？
This is you, isn't it? Yes, the girl in that photo was mistakenly me. Come to think of it, I've heard a car speeding off into the night that day. They must have been photographers or something. There's no way they'd believe me about the de-aging medicine, even if I explained it. To an onlooker, all I saw was a cigarette.
これは
Just... My lack of words was as good as a confession. But it wasn't shock that rendered me speechless. The mist still clouded my head made this all feel worlds away. Because of that, I found the guidance counselor's interrogation tiresome. Somewhat exasperated, I decided to readily admit I had been smoking. As a result, I was suspended from school. I didn't really care anyway. School did nothing to help me sing and dance, much less earn Suzahara's recognition. All that mattered was getting Lily's charm back. School was pointless compared to that. My mother gave me an earful back at home. She was sharp. She knew I would never do this on my own. Thus, she demanded the name of the instigator from me. I didn't care about the rest, but hearing Suzahara get bad-mouthed would have angered me. So instead, I gave her some sob story about how I was too stressed, that I felt trapped. That's all the cruel comments of the internet had hurt too badly. For some reason, she apologized at the end, saying she must have driven me into a corner. She also apologized for not recognizing my efforts, but I wasn't interested. The only recognition I wanted was from Suzahara. Suzahara. Even the bigwigs at the agency gave me a hard time. They yelled at me for doing this at such a vital period for Flower High's future. Honestly, I didn't care about Flower High School anymore. As long as I can get Magical Lily back, I would make it on my own. After much uproar, I was sentenced to an indefinite suspension from idle work. It seemed my name was promptly wiped from Flower High School's roster. Perhaps the situation was a lot more serious than I thought, but I couldn't bring myself to give a damn about any of it. Back when I was Magical Lily, the agency had done nothing but cling to my shadow. Besides, I didn't want their recognition, just Suzuhara's. My body felt like lead that night. My mother was crying in the living room. I just didn't care at all. It all felt so disconnected. Just then, I got a visitor. Suzuhara had come to see me. Normally, I would have been surprised that he'd come in without knocking, but that didn't matter. Suzuhara?
順調に薬の効果が出ているね。
The medicine is working beautifully.
薬の効果。
What do you mean?
君にできた不要な吹き出物を落とすんだよ。
That ugly boil of you is falling off. Finally, then I understood. I was a boil, a pimple, a tumor. Thus, that was why I, Rirura Kurusu, had to wither and be erased. Yes, the medicine had taken effect all right. Because now it was over for Rirura Kurusu, wasn't it?
そしたら私はリリーになれて先輩に認めてもらえるかな。
Then I can become Lily and earn your recognition?
そうだね。きっと認められるよ。
No, that's right. I know everyone will love you again.
元の可愛らしい、愛くるしい、華奢で小さなあの体に戻れたらね。
Once you go back to being that adorable little angel, that is.
早く戻って先輩に一番可愛かった時の姿を先輩に。
I want to go back and show you when I was at my cutest.
私いつ戻れるんですか。
But when will that day come?
もうクルスリリアという海は出尽くしたと思います。
Rirura Kurusu has already wasted away by now.
いつリリーの体になれるんですか。
When will I get Lily's body back?
これから始まるよ。
It won't be long now.
感じないかな。体の変化が。
Can you feel the change? I didn't notice because it was so faint, but I did indeed feel my body changing. My joints and blood vessels were throbbing.
君はこれからさなぎになるんだ。
Soon you'll be a chrysalis.
さなぎ。
A chrysalis?
そして生まれ変わって帰ってくるんだよ。
And then you'll be reborn as new. As Lily. He was right. Though my body felt like it was melting on the inside, my skin felt dry and bulky. So that was it. I was becoming a chrysalis. Hmm? Suzuhara sounded surprised. Oh. I looked around and noticed that the room had gone dark at some point, and there were multiple red lights shining there. Those pinpricks in the darkness were all focused on their prey. They had Suzuhara surrounded. I couldn't even begin to count how many there were.
なんだこいつらは。
What are these? Suzuhara sounded panicked for the first time ever. I got the impression something terrifying was happening, but the haze in my head prevented me from connecting to it. The countless eyes shining in the darkness walked forward. Oh, they're the dolls. Revealing their true forms. They were Japanese dolls. The dolls shuffled and charged at Suzuhara as though to devour him. Stop it. Suzuhara's voice sounded distorted again, perhaps all death cries do. He started screaming, and I heard what sounded like thick leather being torn to pieces. The dolls were tearing off his skin. Something repulsive that I couldn't possibly imagine where his innards squirmed in one place. At that moment, I finally understood. This thing wasn't Suzuhara, just something that had been pretending to be him. It must have taken advantage of my weakness and donned the form of my beloved Suzuhara in order to approach me. The dolls gnawed into the monster's bleeding flesh and entrails, and dragged them out. The fake Suzuhara writhed as it changed into a pile of guts, which amassed before the dolls. And when I saw that, I came to epiphany. The thing had tricked me. You could never turn back the biological clock. I totally bought its story and just did whatever it told me. Yeah, you did. But then, did that mean I couldn't get back my old body? If so, then what was the point of losing Kurusu? No, I was gonna turn into a chrysalis. And when I woke up, I'd be Lily again. Will I? The room around me had changed before I knew it. It was white as angel's feathers. No, this wasn't my room. Where was I? My body felt funny. My skin was stiff and aching. It hurt when I moved my arm. It was only natural. After all, there was a thick needle connected to a tube sock. Into it. Stuck. An IV was stripping from the other end. So this was a hospital then. I felt something large. Goodness. I felt something large lying next to my head. When I turned to look, I was surprised to find a Japanese doll there. It was a new, beautiful doll that had been well groomed. It made sense. No wonder I had weird dreams with this thing in my bed. Stay away.
心臓潰れるかと思いました。
I almost had a heart attack there. Kurokami had been standing next to my bed the whole time, watching me. I was surprised, but the pain, fatigue, and disorientation, I felt far outweighed that.
ここはどこでしょう?
Where are we?
病院。
Hospital. Perhaps I should have been more surprised. I was holding an unintelligible conversation with Kurokami.
この人形、まさかお見舞いのつもりですか?
This doll. Did you actually come to visit me?
そのままにしておいて。
Leave it there.
結構です。お人形さんと添い寝はとっくに卒業してますんで。
No, thank you. I moved on from sleeping with dolls long ago. I tried to push the doll away, but even the slightest movement filled me with sharp pain. It seemed to be easiest on me if I just lay there and did nothing like that doll.
どうして私は病院なんかに。
Why am I in the hospital?
お前はもう死ぬから。
Because you're going to die. Huh?
だから言った。あいつは汚れてるから。
I
近
warned you.
寄るな。
I told you he was corrupted. To stay away from him.
だったら僕にも近づかない方がいいかもね。
Then you better stay away from me too.
僕も汚れてるそうだから。
After all, I'm corrupted, apparently.
どうして先輩が汚れてるんですか?
Why? Why are you corrupted?
さあね。でもさっきやった黒髪さんが僕にそう言うんだ。
No idea, but that's what Kurokami said when I saw her earlier.
僕は汚れているから二度と近づくな。不幸が訪れるって。
She told me not to approach her again because I was corrupted, said I would bring misfortune. Well,
わけわかんない。
I don't understand.
なんで鈴原先輩に近づいちゃいけないんですか?
Why should I stay away from Suzuhara?
あれはすすにまみれてる。
He's smeared in soot.
は?
I'm sorry, what?
私たちを惑わす呪いはすすを求めるから。
Curse seeks soot, so it deceives us.
わけわかんない上に余計なお世話です。
First, you start talking nonsense, and now you're sticking your nose where it doesn't belong?
私のことはどう言おうと勝手ですけど、先輩の悪口はやめてください。
Say whatever you like about me, but please don't speak ill of Suzuhara.
それが呪い。
That's the curse.
はあ?
What?
私たちはあれのすすに惹かれる。
We're attracted to his soot.
お前とて なぜあれに惹かれるのか理由などわからぬはずだ。
You must have been, you must have found yourself attracted to him for reasons you couldn't comprehend. What was she going on about? My body hurt, my mind was a daze, and I could barely move. Yet she still had the gall to put that creepy doll next to me and start sprouting nonsense. What was wrong with her?
何を言ってんのかわかりませんが、あなたと話すと疲れます。
I do not understand what you're saying, but I'm getting exhausted just talking to you.
誰か呼んでくれませんか？喉が渇きましたんで。
Could you call for someone? I'm thirsty.
お前の母親が下にいた。呼べば喜んで飛んでくるだろう。
Your mother is right outside. I'm sure she'd be happy to drop in.
それと、この気持ち悪い人形、持って帰ってください。
Also, please take that creepy doll with you. Intense pain accompanied my attempt to move. I felt like my whole body was shattered apart, or shattering. I didn't want to see this creepy thing a second longer, so I fought hard to pick it up. However, the pain was so great that I ended up dropping it on the floor. Did you break it? At that precise moment, I blacked out.
いらないなら持って帰るけど、
I'll take it if you don't need it.
あんたの寿命がそれで終わるだけ。
But that will merely mark the end of your lifespan. What? Before I knew it, the doll I dropped to the floor was being pressed into my chest. It seemed that I'd only been unconscious for as long as the doll had been away from me. But my condition was clearly worse than before. The sense of swelling in my abdomen I managed to ignore earlier was now overwhelming me.
嘘でしょ。
Wait. I couldn't even stay conscious without having this creepy doll at my side? Oh, right. I was becoming a chrysalis. That had to be why I was feeling so terrible. That also meant I'd soon be reborn. But there was a part of me exasperated by my lingering belief in that notion. Was I becoming a chrysalis to get Lily back? Or had I merely been deceived by the monster disguised as Suzahara? I couldn't tell anymore. So, all I could do was believe in the more hopeful possibility.
私は死にません。
I won't die.
いえ、死ぬとしたらクルス・リリアが消えるだけ。
No, if I do die, all that means is Rira Kurusu will vanish.
すぐに私はこの殻を破ってリリーとして生まれ変わるんです。
And I'll break out of the shell and be reborn as Lily. Kurokami probably didn't understand a word I said. I couldn't blame her. I was just mumbling nonsense.
先輩は一体何しに来たんですか？
What are you doing here anyway?
奇病に侵されて嫁へ行くばくと聞き、様子を見に来た。
I came to check on you when I heard you'd come down with a strange illness and didn't have much time left.
奇病まあ、そういうことになってるんでしょうね。
Strange illness? I suppose that's not inaccurate.
しかし、手遅れだった。
It's too late.
もはや、できることは何もない。
There's no longer anything I can do for you.
余計なお世話です。
Mind your own business. The sense of swelling in my abdomen grew stronger and stronger. It was so hard to breathe that I broke out into a cold sweat. It must have been because I dropped that doll earlier.
お前は死ぬ。
You're going to die.
どうも。
Good to know.
しかし、それも定めかもしれぬ。そして解放でもあるやもしれぬ。
But perhaps that is fate, as well as liberation.
何を言ってるか ぱりです。
No clue what you're talking about.
さようなら、布川の娘。
Farewell, daughter of Nunokoa.
死ぬことが許されたお前が羨ましい。
I envy the privilege of you dying. Oh, let me reread that. I envy you the privilege of dying.
おや、呼んでもらえますか。
Did you get my mother? Right after Kurakami left the room, my mother came tearfully rushing in. It seemed she'd been told I was in critical condition and might not wake up again. She was elated with belief that I was on the road to recovery. And I knew her joy would be short-lived. It was my body. I knew it best. Just as Kurakami had said, I wouldn't last much longer. It was only thanks to that grace, or whatever that creepy doll, that I was staying conscious. And besides, while the doll had arrived looking like it was fresh off the shelf, its hair was now frizzing, and its kimono was tearing, like he'd stood the test of time. I could barely breathe, but my mind was clear, so I quickly said what I had to. I didn't have a moment to spare.
お母さん、今までありがとう。お父さんにもありがとうと伝えて。
Mom, thank you for everything. Tell Dad the same.
私、多分もうすぐ死ぬ。そして、もう時間はわずかしかないの。
I'm probably going to die soon. I don't have much time
そ
left.
のわずかの時間をどうしても捧げたい人がいるの。お願い、呼んで。
So there's someone I need to spend it with. Please call for him. Really? Okay. Oh, I had my... Oops. News of Nunokawa's mysterious illness and critical condition reached the LCSC. I hadn't spoken to her all that much, but she'd given me a ticket to her debut concert, and though we haven't known each other long, she seemed to enjoy my company, so I wanted to go visit her in the hospital, but they weren't allowing any visitors. It was then that I got the call. Nunokawa was at death's door, and she wanted to see me before the end. This may sound unfair to her, but I honestly had no idea why she'd ask for me. Oh my god. Normally you'd want to spend your final moments with the people you cared for most, like close friends or family. So I didn't have a clue why I took priority above all of them. Yeah, weird. Oh god.
これで私の話は終わりです。
That's my story. I didn't know what to say. Who in the world was this me she kept meeting at night after night? I hadn't even seen her once since the day of the concert. I'd gone looking for her group's booth to say hi to her, but in the end, neither Natsu nor I could find it. I'd spoken to her since the day she gave me the ticket at the shrine. I didn't know if I should tell her that. Maybe not. Because I wanted to believe her. However, she was probably in critical condition because of that thing that posed as me. All I could do was hang my head dumbfounded.
先輩からすればわけのわからないめちゃくちゃな話だと思います。
I know none of this makes any sense to you. It must sound crazy.
でも私だって
Even if it's crazy,
話してて思いました。なんてわけのわからない話。
I wanted to tell you about it.
そもそもなんで私の頭の中が先輩のことでいっぱいなのかさえ私にはわからないんです。
I don't even know why it is that I couldn't get you out of my head.
どうして私はあなたのことがこんなにも。
Why was I so attracted to you? It's the soot. He has the soot. I couldn't tell her it was a mystery to us both. Why was it she took such a liking to me? We're attracted to his soot. That was what Kurakami had said. According to Nunokawa, she also said this. The curse leaks soot, so it deceives us. That's the curse.
僕が
I'm
呪われていると。
cursed? I'm sooty?
そんな風なことを言ってましたね。本当に失礼ですよね。
That's basically what she said, wasn't it? Seriously, how rude. I didn't recall getting cursed, but I remembered what Kurakami had told me at the shrine. You're corrupted. Just who was Toei Kurakami, and what did she know? And why was it she weighed so heavily on my mind? My feelings for her sounded a lot like Ruru's for me. An attraction without any solid basis. Is that the curse?
すみません。
Maybe.
急に呼びつけて、こんなわけのわからない話を聞かせて。
I'm sorry for calling you out of the blue and telling you this insane story.
僕に何かできることはある？
Is there anything I can do?
はい。だから呼んだんです。
That's why I called for you.
もし本当に私が若返るなら、
I really do turn young again.
その姿を先輩に見てほしいんです。
I want you to see what I look like.
私わかるんです。もうすぐ私というさなぎが帰るって。
I'm a chrysalis. I can tell I'm going to hatch soon.
それを見届ければいいんだね。
And you want me to see that through, right?
はい。そしてもしそれがとても魅力的だったなら、
And if you find that you love the old me,
どうか私を認めると声をかけてくれませんか？
could you please say you accept me?
もうすぐだから。
She's coming. I can feel it.
大丈夫？今誰かに。
Are you okay? I'll go call for...
呼ばないで。先輩だけが見て。
Don't. I just want you to watch. Please.
ふとめくって私の体を見て。
The covers and look at my body. Pulling back at a girl's cover felt the same as taking off her clothes, so I was a bit reluctant. But it fulfilled her wish. It's just normal. Alright. I gasped. Her body was so... I mean...
綺麗だよ。
You're pretty.
嘘。今はさなぎだからみっともない姿だと思います。
You're lying. I'm a chrysalis right now, so I must look disgusting. Uh-oh. My mouse! Hey. My mouse stopped working. Ah. Hold on. Hello? Oh, okay. That was weird. Indeed, she looked just like a chrysalis, an insect's pupa. Was what she dreamed of truly lying inside there? Hoping for just That... Hold on. Hoping for that just seemed so... Keeping my thoughts from showing on my face was harder than anything else. She believed her most beautiful self was resting inside her. But it was just too difficult to imagine what our ideal was, when it was already difficult enough as it was to look at that. What am I looking at? Is this like censored or something? I'm very confused. Or is this like... Despite that, I lied.
みっともなくなんかないよ。
You're not disgusting.
リリアちゃんの綺麗な体だよ。
Your body is so beautiful.
ありがとう先輩。
Thank you, Susan. Just then, it shook and she started moaning in agony. I heard what sounded like wood cracking. Oh no. It was the sound of a head of a doll snapping off. Uh-oh, I see. And then, if that were the signal, the time finally came.
見ててください。
Susan, please watch.
そして
I'm watching.
可愛かったら素敵だった。そうだって言ってくださいね。
And I'm stunning. Please tell me.
それはクルス・リリアとして聞きたいから。
I want to hear that as Ririra Kurusu. Oh. A muddy muck like pitch black blood like amniotic fluid spewed out of the tear in her stomach and scattered everywhere. It gushed out of her like a geyser, staining the sheets, walls, and ceiling with its filth. It sprayed on me too, but I couldn't turn away. Suzuhara, am I being reborn as my beautiful self?
綺麗だよ。
Yeah, you're beautiful. I did it.
ススハラ先輩に認めてもらえた。
Suzuhara finally accepted me. A moment later, a misshapen lump of flesh burst forth. An orange light scattered along with the black muck. I found that sight utterly beautiful. The black muck blanketed the walls, caught fire the second the sparks hit it. They went for me too. Amidst the world wreathed in crimson flames, I saw it. Something like black soot spurting from her corpse and formed into the shape of a human. It was a child with horns, like withered branches growing out of her head. She's kind of cool looking, I'm not gonna lie. It looked like something imitating the body she had wished for. Breathing crimson flames and clad in the cursed black soot. Here. Ha. Was the avatar of the curse, looked up to the ceiling and celebrating its birth. It shredded all over the disfigured corpse that was once Ryuria. Did you kill Ryuria? There was no way I could hold a conversation with something inhuman. But my thoughts must have gotten through to it. Because it looked right at me and curved its lips into a smirk. I readied my fist. Punch it. Because I'm used to punching trees. It was the only dedication I could offer before God. When it saw that, the thing stared with confusion for a moment before throwing its head back in laughter. It was pointless. You couldn't strike the moon by hitting its reflection. There was no way you could punch something inhuman, guys. But I couldn't help but try. I wanted Rura's soul to rest as peacefully as possible. The thing sneered as though it had read my thoughts. It shot me a pitying, mocking look, almost as if it were blaming me for this. Had it killed her? Or did I really bear some curse that brought misfortune to those I approached? Only this thing knew the answer. No, perhaps the other one knew too. Yay! I think we finished it. So, again, it's showing the trailer. We're just gonna go boop boop. Yeah, complete. So, I'm gonna go. Here, just in case, I'll stop here. So, what have we learned? I think we learned a lot of good things. I think we learned... Oh, let me... Do not take random drugs from cute boys or girls. Or your body will burst out, something like that. Or you'll die. Also, she was a little dumb. Anyway. Have a great day, everyone. We'll see you next time for the next chapter of Iwaihime. Bye.